Good evening, everybody. My name is Jose Negron, and welcome to, excuse me, not much, and welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense. For the benefit of those who are not familiar with the channel, the reason why I call it Uncommon Sense is that we're dealing with everyday problems and trying to find solutions. Unfortunately, not everyone uses logic to deal with those solutions. So, to bear that in mind, I just want to let everybody know that we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope and Twitter. Now, the question is, why do we have stress during the holidays? Um, when you think about the holidays, for many people, it's a happy time. You are with family, you are with loved ones, you live with close friends. Uh, Many times you're enjoying fellowship of others. Other times you're enjoying good food. Um, it's also a time to, at least for the time being, not be concerned about what's going on in the world. So for many people, it's a happy time. For others, it is not. And some of the causes why people experience stress during the holidays is for some reason people feel lonely. Also, you have people that are dealing with the loss of loved ones. It was also particularly true regarding last year, um, because many people, due to COVID-19 and other causes, have lost loved ones, fathers, mothers, children, siblings, spouses, uncles, aunts, and other good friends. And according to the American Psychological Association, um, they did a report which that stated that 38% of the people said that stress increased during the holidays, while only 8% feel happier. These are some of the factors. Um, Now, some of you may not know, but last year I not only experienced the death of one person. Okay. Good evening, Denise. Good evening, Melanie and Knight. Um, in the beginning of the year, last year, my oldest sister passed away. And then 6 months later, my mother passed away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oops, okay, I'm going to drop the link. Okay. If anyone can see the link, please put on a one, enter a one, and if not, enter a two. About the fact that a matter is 2020 among the holidays was a very stressful time due to the fact, not just because of the fact that people who lost loved ones, also yet many people who lost their jobs, yet many people who have their wages cut. You have many people who are not able to pay their rent and their mortgages um, due to some of the facts of COVID-19. So, you know, if anyone wants to enter the chat, please, the link is there. Now, how can you deal with stress? Um, there are many ways that you can deal with it. Sometimes people feel obligated to attend functions. There might be times when you might have to say, with all due respect, I will not participate. And be honest as far as why. Because just because it's the holidays doesn't mean that you have to attend every function. Okay? Another way to deal with stress is to acknowledge the fact. Okay. Let's see. One moment. Another thing that not acknowledge the fact. Okay. That you need help. Now, here in New York City, we have a thing called NYC Well, where you can get counseling to help deal with some of the issues that you're dealing with. Another effect as far as stress is, unfortunately, not only depression is high, there's also suicides as well. Because unfortunately, for some people, it's a lonely time. And for some people, it's extremely difficult to try to admit that you need help. And there's no shame. There is no shame whatsoever to acknowledge the fact that you need help. And actually, the fact of the matter is, acknowledging that you need help, that's half the battle there. Because once you're able to acknowledge that you need assistance, okay, one moment. Good evening, Christina. Once you're able to acknowledge that you need help, then you're in a proper mindset to receive counseling um, and emotional support. There are some other ways that you can do to try to lessen the stress is to make sure that you rest. Um, the fact of the matter is, oh, and I think we have somebody. Good evening.
Hello, Jose. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you very much. How are you doing, my cyber daughter?
I am so good. I am enjoying myself here with my significant other and watching your stream.
Well, speaking about stress, this has been a very stressful week for us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh my God, yes. This has been a week where people, it's like I was talking the other day, this lockdown release, like, hi, Christina. It's like as if they opened the circus and like all the zoo and all the animals just came out. I feel like the lockdown was like Noah's Ark and we were all in there. But then the minute that, and we survive all the freaking rain and whatnot, and then when they open the ark back again, people are acting obnoxious and crazy.
You wouldn't believe what was going through today at work. Everybody's going crazy over the new COVID-19 mandates. And let me just briefly educate what's going on. Now, all municipal employees of the city of New York must be vaccinated,
Yeah,
and that has caused a lot of stress among my coworkers.
I can
So
only
I have to
imagine.
I have to explain to them what is the situation. And actually, there is some legitimate ways that you can avoid being vaccinated. Um, you first of all submit medical documentation that your health will be impaired or compromised if you are vaccinated. And then what would you do is you should submit it to our EEO department, and then they will make a determination. And then they'll make one of three decisions. They will accept your exemption, they will request additional documentation, or deny it.
Hmm.
The only other way to be exempt from vaccination is through religious views. And that when it gets a little weaker because not all religious affiliations are against vaccination. I don't know if you're aware, but the Pope, our current Pope, is in favor of vaccination.
But that is the thing. I'm look. I had to compromise and get the job. I have
Mhm.
to, because if I wanted to continue to have access to the gym, I have to. Um, but I believe that people need to understand that, you know, this is not supposed to be mandated.
I
There's no
agree.
law. There's no law. It's just, unfortunately, like I said, it's whoever complains about this has to understand that, you know, enjoy it today, because there's a lot of people clapping for the mandates. Enjoy it today, but when the government wants to make something forcefully a mandate on you, don't complain, because this is how it started. So we might like to have people, vaccinated today in mass numbers, but tomorrow it could be a different thing. And because there's a lot of compliance to these mandates, then we already have a government uh, demanding that you show proof of your medical records already. So that is something that I don't understand, how that is not under the HIPAA law. It is not, actually. It's not covered under HIPAA. Like, your employer now can ask for medical records. That is unprecedented.
And to add insult to injury, our mayor is offering $500 to municipal employees who go to a city-run facility to get vaccine to get the first dose by the 29th of this month.
No, give me the 500. But in here, I didn't got anything. Well, yeah, I did. I got a $5 coupon for Target.
Uh,
Oh my
you
god! And
know,
I used it. I used it for a Hydro Boost wash.
um, do you know what I got for my vaccination?
What?
A sore arm after the first dose.
Oh my god! You know what I got? Fever, cough. Uh, my arm was killing me. Well, you talked to me the day that I think you talked to me the day I actually got vaccinated.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Look at Christina, just like,
Yeah,
damn, a
I had a
$5 coupon. Yeah, I got a $5 coupon, and I used it on a Hydro Boost face wash.
Well, at,
So I'm enjoying it now. I'm so happy I got vaccinated.
well, at least you got a coupon. I got zilch. And not, and to add insult to injury, I actually reached out to my representative on the New York City Council in order to get an appointment to get vaccinated.
Oh
So
my God.
it's like a bizarre world. I went through hoops and red tape, which to me, in my estimation,
Mhm.
was the responsible thing. Now, granted, it was my choice,
Yeah.
okay? But I chose to get vaccinated because unfortunately I have certain health concerns.
You should change the date of your vaccinated vaccination card and put it as in October 24th or something like that, and go get your $500. I'll say.
Yes, but
Follow me for more clever solutions.
yes, but you know I'm too ethical to do that.
I'll send you my card. You go get my $500. I'll give you 100.
But but you know something. All joking aside,
Hmm.
this has created a lot of division among our community
Yeah.
regarding this health crisis. And one thing, and I made it perfectly clear that we need to respect other people's viewpoint, and we need to respect the fact that your situation might be different from mine.
Yeah.
And you know, when I try to share with some of my colleagues that there are people who, for medical reasons, may not be vaccinated, they look at me like I have three heads.
Oh my God. I commend you for, because you told me you're like a union representative too. So I commend you for dealing with grown ass adults that don't understand. Like, I get it. You don't want mandates to be legal, but like your union rep is not the governor nor the mayor. He doesn't make the rules. It's not your fault. Chill out. But in all honesty, I mean, out here you can get a free taco for getting your vaccine. What was the other thing that they were giving out for that? Like $100,
They
right?
was
A
giving out,
hundred
I think,
dollar.
like $100 gift card. They was giving like free 7-day Metro cards.
Look, they were giving here. You can get a free taco, which I don't even. Ew, no, a free taco. You can get $100. You also get a raffle ticket for. Well, I mean, in the past, not anymore. For a vaccination lottery. You could potentially win. I think like 500,000. They were giving free ice cream, free donuts, and I'm like, look, we are concerned about what we're putting in our bodies. I get it. I understand. But I'm gonna, contrary to popular belief, after I got COVID last year, I fully recovered, but I had lingering respiratory issues. And somehow, I do not know, don't take my word for this because I'm talking about my only anecdotal experience, of course. But after I got the vaccine, joking aside, and I'm not like a pro mandate everybody to get vaccinated and stuff, but my lungs have not been this good until like since before I got COVID-19.
Hmm.
So it took care of that problem for me. So I don't know. I don't know what they put in that vaccine, but trust me, just do it on a day that the following days you don't have to do anything because you will feel like crap. Trust me. Like 25 minutes after that, you will feel like you want to die. I tried to go to the gym the second day after the vaccine, and I finished my workout, of course, but I felt like, oh my god, I felt so bad. I had to sit down at the gym for a minute after that.
Well, you know what's been my position on the whole matter. It's basically, look, it's like, please speak with your primary care physician. Get Speak with someone in the medical field.
But you know what, Jose?
Yes.
This is my thing. Uh, I don't know how many of you guys are watching the show Dope Sick, but if you have a Hulu account, watch Dope Sick so that people can understand how the FDA works
Okay.
and all of these products. Even if you speak to your doctor really doesn't know, like, what can potentially happen. He's only looking out for your benefit at all costs, and I get that. But doctors really can be lied to by, this Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J corporations. They're just simply distributing this because they have evaluated the information they have been given and they believe that is beneficial to you. But the same thing happened with Celebrex. The same thing happened with OxyContin. The same thing has happened with a lot of things when a lot of stuff. However, they didn't knew that behind the scenes, all these medications could cost you your life because they were lied to. So I get that doctors will tell you what they have read and researched on the brochures, but they cannot tell you in reality that nothing is going to happen to you in the long run. Like, we don't know that,
True.
But my thing is, look, you're ready. We cannot fight the mandate because we don't have the numbers or the unions for that. We just don't. Get the fucking vaccine, and I'm sorry for swearing, but get the freaking vaccine and keep it moving. We put fried food in our bodies, fast food in our bodies. A lot of people put drugs in their bodies. You put soda in your bodies,
Mm-hmm.
sugar, all kinds of shit. Well, add the vaccine to that.
You know, it is unfortunate that our forces are making our choices. And the fact of the matter is this is also bringing up stress during the holidays
No,
because,
the stress is about to start. Trust me.
yeah,
In November, we're going to see all kinds of shit. Like, I've told you that I spend the Black Friday. I go and, like, probably, the frenzy starts like at 3, 4, 5 a.m. I go like at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. to go get the because every 6 months I change towels to go
yes.
get the new towels. I do it in December, I mean in November and in April. So I would say, this year I'm considering just, not going to get the 6 month towels on the Black Friday.
You're serious?
I'm considering going, like, either ordering them online, but I don't want to be involved in this craziness
You know
because
what?
I know it's gonna be crazy. Do you remember that year when people killed that person that was at Walmart? It's gonna be worse than that, and crime is gonna skyrocket. Watch it happen.
Well, I already started doing my Christmas shopping, and it's going to be everything online because I don't want to have to deal with the insanity. I mean, we deal with enough insanity with the mix.
Oh my God, yes.
So just imagine having to go to the mall and do Christmas shopping, say in November or even December. It's like dealing with the mix on steroids.
I have to thank God that my significant other wants electronics, so I can easily order that online. Um, and everybody else will have to just enjoy socks this Christmas because I am not going near any fucking store during the Christmas. Nah, Christmas season is going to be crazy. What I'm
Well,
going to do in November before the Black Friday is stock up on my candles, uh, stock up on things that I need, for the house, and I might have to swallow the the craziness of the grocery store, but that's it. Other than that, nope.
Well, you can just imagine what it was like spending the holidays last year,
Oh my god.
especially after the fact that both my older sister and my mom passed away.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And
I can only imagine.
and the fact of the matter is, from like 8 o'clock in the evening onward, I actually spent Christmas Eve alone because I usually spend it with my mom.
Oh well, I'm gonna I'm gonna make a Christmas special on my channel. I'm not gonna disclose it yet, but I will be sharing things to do on the holidays. And to be honest with you, it's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be fun, but I will share. I'm gonna start probably the second week of November. Um, but it's going to be fun. It's gonna be Christmas spirited. It's gonna be really good. Of course, with a Puerto Rican touch because I am Puerto Rican. But it's
But
going to be good. It's going to be good. Like you guys are going to do a lot of things. I'm going to share a little bit more of what I do during Christmas season.
do you want to share a little bit regarding your channel? I'm sure most of the people know already, but for those who are new, maybe you want to talk a little bit about your channel and what is it that you're trying to do.
Well, for those who did not know me, like I said, basically my channel, I started my channel because I started realizing, um, I came to California, like I've said a few times before, with basically nothing. Nothing but a dream and the desire to work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And, I went through the classic mistakes that most of us do. And in all honesty, um, I started learning probably by the end of 2019 was when I started catching a break and understanding. And it wasn't until I got injured, because I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna get, I started just working throughout myself with some of the help of my friends and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I started even doing boxing as a hobby and whatnot. And I started even getting my body right, because at some point in my life I used to play basketball, but I let go of that and started engaging in a lot of self-harming habits that weren't good for me. I was still working really hard, but I started paying attention to that, and eventually I got injured, like really big, to the point that I could not be standing up for more than 20 minutes and whatnot. I started having flare-ups, and my whole left leg was destroyed. So once I that happened to me and I realized how the American system really works for workers, no matter if you think you're balling, because I thought it was, oh, I'm balling, I'm making that paper, so I am good. But then I realized, once you get injured, you're just another worker out here, and I started realizing, I have to do something not only for the people that care about me, but for myself. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna start looking up how I can make these things work, so that, how can I say it? So that I can, not have to be in this position ever again in my life. And I
Mm-hmm.
started researching a lot about how money is made in America. What are the foundational aspects of it? I started realizing, basically how the system works, what are the important things to know, what things have been kept from us. And trust me, it was overwhelming because I had the layer of the fact that, first, if you were born and raised in America, you were exposed to the public system here, you had an advantage over people like me because in Puerto Rico and in Latin America overall, we really do not know any of these things. You know, we only know how to work, and that's it. Get an education and work. And you know, it was twice as hard to learn all the terminologies, to learn all the things that were available to me. And I started making a lot of mistakes along the way.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm still making mistakes. Like, make no, you know, don't think for a second that I'm not. I'm still learning. I think in 15 years, I will still be learning. And then I realized, you know, I started sharing some of my thoughts with some people, and I started watching my friends, watching other people go through the same problems that I was going. And I started realizing, hey, like, I go into the spaces to, you know, talk and mingle with some people that are business minded like me and like melanated night, but we barely see any Latinos there.
Mhm.
And I started asking myself why. And when I started doing research and pulling out numbers, because I said, well, probably it's just, you know, where I'm at. But then I
Mhm.
realized that overall in this nation, only 3% of corporations or corporate spaces, because we have little to none corporations to our name, we occupy only 3% of corporate employees. And not a lot of those are directors of nothing, they're just workers. And either going up the ladder and having to go through like so much discrimination, so much exploitation. And I said, you know what, we somebody has to start talking about this,
Mhm.
because we talk about a lot about our culture. We talk a lot, and that is good. Don't get me wrong. We talk a lot about our history, our past, how we got here, immigration, our plights. But we don't talk about how to thrive in a capitalist, democratic nation. We have been taught how to survive in it, which is live paycheck to paycheck, paying your bills. And that is supposed to be our life. And I started realizing, hey, a lot of people in these spaces um, that are here don't even move forward because they lack work ethics, the charisma to be able to sell, and also they lack the willingness to work. And I said, you know what's crazy? Latinos have three qualities that have made us be here and survive in this nation, and that is our work ethics, our charisma, and our willingness to work. And I said, the only thing that's lacking, unfortunately, is the fact that we think it's not possible to get into the spaces and we get intimidated. I know this because I got intimidated myself.
Mhm.
And the more I started asking questions to people I know, I realized that a lot of us are intimidated. A lot of us that even jump into the business ventures that we want, we have them at a small scale. We think that, you know, we don't explore the market, we don't do proper marketing, we don't sell our products or promote them in the right way. We don't expand our business. A lot of our people treat their businesses as, I'm just going to have this local business right here and I'm not going to branch out and make it a franchise. There's a lot of things that I could be talking about here, but we will be talking till tomorrow.
That is
But
that is
but
true.
in all honesty, you know, most of us have all these qualities, but we don't put them to good use because we in reality do not understand capitalism. And unfortunately, once you have the tandem effect of inflation and gentrification, that's what kills Latino businesses the most, to the point that 82% of Latino businesses die within the first 5 years.
Mm.
And that those are horrible numbers. That means that every out of 10 businesses that open today in the Latino community, in 5 years, eight of them will not be there. So, in all honesty, I said we got to do better. Somebody has to talk about it. And when I started sharing my thoughts with other people about how we're not moving forward, I found a lot of resistance, especially in my generation of Latinos.
Yes.
And because if you talk to older Latinos, like in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, they get what I'm talking about. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, that's the same way I think. And that's why precisely those Latinos specifically are semi thriving or thriving. But when it comes to our generation, the problem is that Latinos like yourself and people that are in their 40s, that were our parents or our uncles or our aunts and whatnot, you guys knew what it had to be done. The problem is that my generation, unfortunately, because you guys made life so comfortable for us here in the diasporas, we don't understand how the world works, and we're too comfortable thinking that we're going to be covered by you guys. But even if so, you guys are building wealth that will be passed down to us, but we don't have anything of substance that we can inherit our kids or our grandkids. And that is what pushed me to create Latin Splaining,
Okay.
because we have to hold ourselves accountable to actually, start building some stuff and stop just thinking, hey, I'm going to inherit the home that, for example, let's say, like I always call you my cyber father. Let's say that you were my actual father in real life. And yeah, I'm going to inherit my dad's home. And I'm going to be good because, he paid for it and he made sure that he passed it down to me and whatnot. But what I'm not thinking about is that even if I inherit my father's home, I'm not, your degree is not going to be rolled over to me. Your socioeconomics are not going to be inherited to me. How am I going to pay for the taxes on that land? How I'm going to pay for life, how I'm going to pay for college for my children, how I'm going to pay for them to start their own business if they don't desire to go to college, how I'm going to help them or build them up to thrive in capitalism. There are three different classifications for people in this nation. Either you're failing in capitalism, you're surviving, which is the paycheck to paycheck that 80% of Americans overall are living in, and there's the thriving, which is like you're making progress and enjoying capitalism in a comfortable way. And most of us don't do that. So that's basically what pushed me into doing that, because not a lot of millennial Latinos are talking about how we're going to make money, how we're going to pay for things, how we're going to ensure that our future kids and grandkids have an option. Most of us are looking at other communities and, oh, they have this, they have that. Most of us are just trying to do all these massive protests. And to be honest, I agree with the protests of certain things, but how is that going to help us get the gold?
Mhm.
You know?
Well, first of all, before we welcome Rakeem, I just want to encourage everybody to please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. It's not going to cost you anything. It's not going to create stress in your life, but it does help me with my logarithm, and it helps to expand my channel. Now, before we welcome Raheem, Denise, I want to ask you one question. How we are able to deal with the stress of spending the holidays away from your native Puerto Rico?
I'm not gonna lie, it's different. One thing I try to do is first I bake a lot. And I the first year that I was here, I didn't have the opportunity to celebrate any holiday. First of all, Christmas is not my favorite holiday. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, because I get to cook a large meal, because I'm used to just cooking for like more people, which is why I always cook for a lot of people. But um I like being surrounded by friends and family. So I like Thanksgiving because there's great food, no pressure for gifts, and we get to just be in a good spirit. But one thing I realized is I was so drowned in work that I didn't do anything. But the way I dealt with it was, I felt so disconnected that I started making dishes that reminded me of home and sharing them with people that either did not knew them because they're either American or Jamaican or Mexican or whatever. And on top of that, um, aside from all of that, I started playing our music and making like this, like a little Puerto Rican, Cali Rican corner here in our home, and it helped me out a lot. On top of that, like I said, I try to just cook a lot of the things that remind me of my childhood, of my teen years and whatnot, and mostly share it with people, either neighbors or friends and whatnot. But I try to stay away from the stores as much as I can.
Okay. Well, next us welcome Rakim. Good evening, Rakim.
What's up, Rakim?
Good evening, my two dear friends, Jose and Denise. How you guys doing today?
We're doing fine. You wouldn't believe the stress that we've been going through this week. First of all, due to certain bizarre situations, and then dealing with the COVID-19 mandates for all municipal employees. So I was happy when the day was over because I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to you, Jose. I'm a little jealous, but you've earned it.
So, how, do you find the holidays to be stressful?
You know what? This is going to be the second holidays that I've experienced without like my grandmother. So it's been, you have, days where you reminisce and you sit down and you can be down, you can be a little down about the situation, but no, I don't really find it too stressful based off of the fact that I do have family that I purchase gifts for. I make sure that they're well taken care of. But like when Denise said, like I enjoy Christmas, but one of my favorite holidays as well is Thanksgiving because usually that's the time where you're able to get together with family. You're able to play good music. You sit down, you converse. You have good food and you just have a good time. If you don't see each other for the whole year, the holidays is when everybody sees each other. So
Well, among my three favorite holidays are Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, which I call Resurrection Day. Thanksgiving because you are with your family. Last year was a little different because it had to be like downsized due to the pandemic. And the fact of the matter is, for New Year's Eve, it was a virtual event, so that was very bizarre. Um, Christmas because for me it celebrates the birth of someone who's very dear to my life, which is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And also Easter is his resurrection. So after it says something preachy, I mean that's my belief. I know everybody thinks differently, and we need to respect each other's beliefs.
I agree. I agree 100%. I believe in respecting people's beliefs and actually, allowing people to practice their religion and their customs, especially in this time of tradition when it comes to, of course, Christmas being Jesus' birthday and whatnot. And that goes for anybody else, whether they be Muslim, Hebrew, hey, Kwanzaa, whatever, allow people to practice their own beliefs and let them practice their customs however they see fit.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, suicides go up during the holidays. And it's just that some people feel overwhelmed with the fact that here they are, they're not happy, they're depressed in a time where everyone is supposed to be happy and hunky dory, what have you. But the reality is this: for many people, the holidays is not a happy time, and sometimes we can unintentionally shame people for not being happy during the holidays. And we need to be a little bit more sympathetic and reach out to those that we know that are having a hard time. And sometimes it could be just simply to be willing to listen to them without being judgmental. What do you guys think about that?
Well, regarding the whole suicides and you know, it's hard because I have a family member that um did it at 18. But in all honesty, I think it's also it goes back to what we were talking about, capitalism. What keeps capitalism going is consumerism, and that is unfortunately the culture of this country. And because we have these mega cities where people are in huge conglomerates and whatnot, everybody is just minding their own business. People are very disconnected in America, um, which is contributes also to the you know mental health being so important. So when the holidays come, and sometimes most of us are very far away from our relatives, and we don't feel that closeness or that warmth, because a lot of people have to either leave their hometowns, or they move for university or for a job, far away. They tend to feel alone. And some people also, because they have responsibilities, and unfortunately in America a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, they can't afford what they see others enjoying, and that makes them feel like either losers, or that they're failing, or that they're just not thriving at life. And instead of just focusing on, hey, I'm this is going to be the last Christmas that I'm going to be paycheck to paycheck, instead of celebrating and consuming, I'm going to start expanding my sources of income, or I'm going to do this, or there's a lot of things during Christmas that make you non-productive. And we know that when you're not productive, depression comes. A lot of people unfortunately succumb to that, and because there's nobody there to actually make them get attuned with the season, or at least make them aware of this reality, they think, hey, I can easily just lights off and just bye, I'm out, and they check out.
Hmm.
And that is a sad the sad reality that many people face during the holidays. It's unfortunate, which is why I believe we need to start making America feel like home again. Instead of making America great again, let's start making people feel home again, so that
Well,
we see these numbers decrease.
the fact of the matter is, twice I dealt with depression, and twice I thought about committing suicide. And it so happens the two times I thought about committing suicide, it was during the holidays. Now, as far as how I was able to be at the risk of sounding preachy, delivered, is the recognition of who I am, not only to myself, um, but the value that God sees me. Um, I understand that there may be people who do not believe in God, and that's perfectly fine. Everybody is entitled to their views. I'm just simply sharing what was my situation, how I was able to snap out of it, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not that's the problem that a lot of people that are non-believers, unfortunately that's my group, that are non-believers don't understand. Just because we don't believe in these things, that doesn't mean that you're wrong and we're right. Because if it represented to you, like people in my family, I've had an uncle that went through hell and back, and it was God that saved him in his opinion. And we can't diss when people reach out to views of a supreme being in control, because it's the only thing that gravitates them into reality. And that is something that is also lost during the holidays. The actual season is not about consuming, it's not about gifts, it's about experiences. And I think, like I said, in the United States, mostly in big cities like, Rakim is in Chicago, I'm in California and Los Angeles, and you're in New York. These things in large cities, they're very complicated. It's very complicated to make people feel the Christmas spirit, you know,
Yes.
because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, especially for males. I see males trying to, produce these crazy things for their families during the holidays, and some, rather just, like I said, set the lights off, I'm out, rather than have to face the knowledge that, hey, I can't provide for my family this experience because I don't have the money for this, and they just check out. Or my life is not going like it was supposed to go, and I'd rather just check out than to, come back home, because unfortunately the concept of family also is destroyed in America in large numbers, in every community, to the
Yeah.
point that if you don't bring home a Christmas tree, if you don't bring home gifts, if you don't bring home all the electronics that I want, all the jewelry that I want, I'm gonna throw a fit. And that's how lives are lost, especially for the men. Especially for the men, they have to produce a lot of things during Christmas. And let's not forget that every month, at least in the US, every month you have at least one holiday.
Hmm.
Every month you have to create this extra revenue to comply with the social norm. And that's what's putting a lot of stress in a lot of people. And people are breaking.
Yeah.
And they break the most in Christmas, because you have Christmas Eve, whatever party that they invite you in, you have Christmas Day, you have New Year's Eve, and then you have New Year's. That's literally 4 to 5 holidays wrapped up in 2 weeks of a year.
And don't forget, there's also Hanukkah. There's also Kwanzaa and Three Kings Days for us, which is otherwise known as the Feast of the Epiphany.
That is the day where you get the actual gifts. If you're Latino, you know that in Christmas Day, Santa Claus only brought you clothes. But in the Three Kings Day, the Dia de Reyes, that's when you got your actual gift. So Latinos have to wait a little bit longer for their gratification in Christmas. But it's a lot of
Um,
holidays, Jose. Think about it. Like, to be
you're
honest with you,
absolutely right.
between the food, the gifts, the decorations, it's a lot of money.
And I'm not gonna lie, but one of the things I miss, as far as the pandemic, it's not be able to gather with my union brothers and sisters and just enjoy their company. And let's keep it real, I love to eat. I
Oh
mean,
my
because
god.
Denise, you can relate, the battle of the bulge. We both have gone through it, so therefore,
Yeah.
I can sympathize with you 100%. Now, I see there is currently 3 people viewing this, so the link is there. If anyone wishes to join, by all means, feel free. Don't be shy. Now, let's bring Rakeen's point of view.
Yeah, go ahead, Rakim.
Just to piggyback a little bit off of what Denise saying, unfortunately, the way that the United States is structured, based off of consumerism, it does take a toll. Not just on men, but I believe on women too, especially if it's women out there that are single mothers who don't have the means to necessarily provide presents from for multiple children. You know, people that are living in poverty are reminded every day of what they don't have, and you know that can cause depression in a lot of people, especially if rent's due or your past due or you don't have the means to pay certain bills and you're struggling as it is. And these kids are reminded every day about what they don't have. And when they look at television, they're looking at all of these Christmas carols and all of these holiday specials on television, and they're sitting there with nothing to, you know, be excited about, nothing to be happy about. And you know, of course, living in the inner cities, you are, you know, in close proximities of downtown, so you can see, you know, Christmas sales for jewelry, Christmas sales for different name brand clothing, Christmas sales for different toys and video games, and you know, the latest electronics. And on top of it all, you know, people that are in poverty, you know, it can go one or two ways. You know, you have some people where it'll bring them closer together, and they'll say, look, we may not have everything that we need, but we got each other, and we'll make it up for next Christmas, or maybe I'll get you guys your presents later on in the new year to make up for not having things. And then you have some people, especially men, who may resort to some type of criminal activity in order to be able to bring Christmas, you know, to their families, which is never good, and it's nothing. You know, that's not the right way to go about things. Think you can make, you know, your life possibly much much worse by trying to, you know, exact some type of criminal action to get the things for your family. But yeah,
Um,
And let's not forget, you have all of this stuff while you're paying your bills, mortgage, rent, and your vehicle insurances and whatnot. And just when you recover in January, you're working towards recovery. You have Valentine's Day on February. And if you don't bring oh my God, that's going to be hell on earth.
yes.
yeah, and one thing I will say, like the loss of family is definitely real because everything is based off of money these days, and of course we know that whoever control corporate business actually set the tone for people in their, you know, people that work on their everyday lives. So if the corporations are greedy and everything is based off of getting money from um you know, regular people, then obviously it takes a toll on people. They become brainwashed by consumerism and materialism. And for those that don't have, they're judged and they're looked down upon. Even some may even be, especially men, may even be looked down upon by their significant other, or certain family members may look down upon other family members. And it just causes a rift. And, you know, people that feel like they can't get ahead because, you know, living in the United States is one big monopoly game. So, you know, for people that feel that they can't get ahead, they'll, you know, they'll fall into depression.
That, it is sad and true. And to be perfectly honest, now I cannot speak for Los Angeles. I cannot speak for your community, Joaquin. But here in New York, affordable housing, that's a concept in name only. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you have people who pay 50% or more of their income just to pay rent. And that's not even accounting utility bills and whatnot. So
Yeah,
that
because
creates
they're
stress.
they're they're tricking us with the inflation. And you know when this got harder, Jose? In the
How?
80s. In the 80s. Because in the 70s, the average rent for Americans was, I believe, $276, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the average um the average salary was close to $1,000. Now, today, the average rent in America is $996, at least last year before the pandemic. And the average salary for Americans today is 1,800. That makes no sense. You're supposed to
Mm.
spend one third of your money in housing. That is the rule. And it's because they say, no, inflation is only 3.5%. Inflation has not been that, because if you count in the amount of taxes that we have been put on, the cost of, commerce, and all the manufacturing being done overseas, and the transportation cost of every goods that we acquire from overseas, the inflation basically that we have had in the last 40 years is almost 7 to 9%. And the fact that we're still debating if we should pay workers $15 an hour, that is not necessarily according to today's inflation. If we were to pay people according to today's inflation so that they can have a middle class life by working on a regular job, they're supposed to get $24 an hour. So even if they were to say, hey, the minimum federal wage, the minimum per hour will be $15, you're still going to be short $9.
I just went into Google and I asked, what is the average rent in the Bronx? And the average rent is $1,622.
Now look the average rent in LA.
Okay, let me take a look at that. Uh, I can just imagine. Okay, see. Can you share with us? Oh, my lord, $2,518. Okay,
Can you look
talking
up
about.
Chicago as well, Jose? I think we might be the
Let me take a
cheapest,
look.
but we're up there.
That's right. Make me work on my vacation.
Oh my God. But you see, living in LA, in the average compared to New York, is $900 higher than New York in the Bronx. LA is 2,518. And you
Um,
have literally, there's a lot of, if you don't work in LA County, in LA City, I'm sorry, if you don't work in the city of Los Angeles, not the county, the city, you're not going to get $15 an hour. You get $11 an hour. Now imagine
um,
people hustling themselves and overworking themselves to, you know, pay 2,500 on rent. Like, it's what I told about to people about inflation and, gentrification here in my neighborhood, for example. Like I said, it there's a lot of people that were living here when I first moved here, and they're not here anymore because they can't afford it. In 2 years, rent went up uh, to $400. In just the course of 2 years, it's $400 more expensive. Our wages did not went up at all.
um, excuse me. The average rent is $2,059 a month in Chicago.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Okay, so think about this. If you're making $15 an hour, or let's make it a little bit generous and $20 an hour, you're fighting just to pay your rent alone. Never mind paying for utilities, and never mind if you want to get food and cable. Oh my goodness. My cable bill, I mean, the cable bill, I mean, it could be like about $150 a month, depending what is your provider.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
even if you're in 15, look, if you're at $15 an hour today, you're making, if you're working 40 hours, okay, you're making 2,400 before taxes. Okay, that makes no freaking sense. You cannot afford a house or a rent in LA. You just can't. Like, if you're that's what you're making, get out of LA. That's why we have such an exodus today. Like, literally in 100, and I believe 176 or 186 years, the California's population had not decreased but increased. And for the first time in 2020 and 2021, it decreased. In almost 200 years, that has not been the norm. So even with the people that are we're getting in here, there's more people leaving than staying. I posted yesterday on my Instagram how when we go to pump gasoline, you almost pay $5 a gallon. And there's a town in LA already, in the LA County, that is already $7.26, something like that, per gallon.
What?
Yeah. When and I hate to say it, but when Trump was in office, he made sure that the gas was not higher than $3 a gallon. And it never reached $3. It was always like 2.69, 2.39 a gallon, something like that. Now it's almost $7.25.
Denise, be careful. You might be confused as part of the mega crowd. But
Jesus.
the fact of the matter is, year round we're dealing with a lot of stress, and then it seems like the stress is on steroids during the holidays. Uh,
Yeah.
because we're thinking, because we gotta get the new we gotta get the new iPhone 13. We gotta get the S20 whatever, or we gotta get the new car, or we gotta get the flies clothes and what have you. Meanwhile, what we're doing is we're creating a lot of stress on top of the stress we have now. Plus, we're creating a great deal of debt. And
Not
then
only
what
that.
happens? Okay, and what happens is, like in January, people are looking forward to their W-2 so they can file their taxes and get their refunds if they're lucky.
Yeah. And you know what? Well, I mean, I'm not gonna get a refund because I'm an independent contractor, but I actually have to pay. But I would say that unfortunately today they have started announcing already. I don't know if you guys are aware of the backlog of shipments in California.
Oh yes.
Jesus Christ. Now they're saying that Christmas gifts and the Christmas season will be more expensive here because of that backlog. So you can't expect to buy anything more expensive during this Christmas. They're already shaking us for every penny. And it's like, like I said, I'm not going to, people are going to have to be happy with socks from me this year because I refuse to pay, you know, extra money for the same goods. And the problem in California and in the nation as a whole is that once the market tests the waters for people to buy things more expensive, they never come down in price. Once they charge you for cheese 49 cents more, it will never come back those 49 cents. It will never come down from that. And that is the problem. I'm telling you, even cheese in California is more expensive now. Like
Well,
you go and buy actual cheese, not American singles, because that is not cheese and that's not healthy for you. But if you go and buy cheese, literally a pack of 12 slices of cheddar is almost $4.
jeez, it makes you almost want to give up
Yeah,
cheese.
that's
Yeah.
Uh,
crazy.
but you know
Even
something?
soda, even soda here is like it's went from $1.20, $1.30 to $2.30.
Yeah,
It's like getting
here's
crazy.
2.89 here for a two
Jesus
liter
Christ.
soda. Yep, 2.89. And if you buy the 20 ounce, it's 2.19.
Sheesh. Well, earlier this week, one of my coworkers was venting how, when it's come time for our unions to negotiate a new contract, um, that they need to do better with the raises. And I said, well, I hear you, but unfortunately, what happens is if you want to get more money, usually that gets paid off by getting less benefits of some sort. And let me tell you something. No one is living it a high off the hog as a civil servant. I mean, if you take a look, um, the average salary for a municipal employee who has a bachelor's degree, it's between $40,000 to $45,000 a year. And people think that's a lot of money. Well, that's a lot of money if you're in Armpit, Oklahoma, tongue twister, Idaho. But if you're living in New York, that's not so. That's that's not a lot of
That's
money.
broke. That's broke. That's New York and LA broke.
Yeah, same thing as well here. I mean, you're broke. You're
Yeah.
you're you're broke. You're almost negative zero,
Yeah,
right
you're
on that
broke.
borderline.
You need that gig on the side, that side hustle. You need that second job. That's why you see a lot of professionals scanning items at Target. You know,
Mhm.
it's so crazy because, and that's why I said with the whole. I was watching with Melanated Night, Abba and Preach talking about how more men are renouncing going to college. The return on investment is a piece of shit. I'm sorry to put it that way, but it's true. The return on investment for a college degree today is crap because before you used to get a decent amount of money where you could have middle class life and you can put your kids through college and whatnot. But in today's economy, because wages never went back up and we have been bleeding insane amount of monies into the military, you know right now a person with a bachelor's degree is making from 20 to $24 an hour, and that is what a minimum wage worker should have been being paid in today's society to be stable. That the return on investment for going to college is crap. You put in 50K. Oh, you like Avon Priest was saying, you want to work? Give me 50K first. You
Right,
want to
that's
work?
facts.
Give me 100,000 first, and then I'll teach you how to get the job. And there's no guarantee that you're gonna land the job.
And then you still got loans that you have to pay back.
Yeah,
You know,
and that is crazy. The fact that they will give you 100K in student debt loans, but they won't give you 100K to start your business.
Well, my local. I mean, we do have some, we do have some scholarships to help people to continue their education as far as getting their master's degree. We even got some scholarships now for people, for the children of our members who are planning to go to college. So we started giving scholarships of $1,000. Now, grant you, $1,000 is not a great deal of money, but it does pay for textbooks. And if anybody knows about college, textbooks can be extremely expensive. But some of them are like over $100 just for a freaking textbook and whatnot. And
Buy
we
it
also,
used. Buy it used.
I agree. I agree.
That's the best.
But what's the sad thing is our local, and I gotta give a shout out to SSE Local 371 because that's my local. I'm a proud member. We do have scholarships of $2,500. Now, grant you, $2,500 is not going to pay for all your educational expenses, but it does defray some of the costs. And unfortunately, some of these scholarships are not even used by our members. Um, and I think part of it is the lack of vision and the drive. I mean, look at my situation. I went through a great deal in order to become a homeowner. And I have discussed this not only on my stream, but also on your stream, how I became a homeowner. I mean, I just had to have the drive and desire to not be a renter, but to be an owner.
Yeah, that is the best choice, in all honesty. That is the best choice.
Yes, I agree. I think Rakeem, you're an owner as well. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, I'm working towards being an owner, and that definitely is the best choice within this day
Yes.
and age because what you're forking over for rent, you can be, paying towards a mortgage to actually own the property. Now
Hmm.
you have red tape that you got to watch out with home ownership, but in the end, it's worth it to actually own a home versus renting an apartment that you'll never own that can change owners of that same apartment that you've rented for years and your rent can go up. um so you it's best to start looking into owning your own home, and that way you'll be in a better position than actually renting for years, and you look up and you realize I paid over close to $200,000 renting in this same area for the last 7 to 8 years, and I still don't own anything. So
Trust me. Trust me, we know that reality. And especially here in LA when rent is so expensive, you spend a good chunk of money in renting, like a good chunk. The only positive thing I would say about renting is that you don't have the homeowner's responsibility for anything that breaks down. So cost of repairs, you don't have to put them in, and you also have the flexibility to up and go. But other than that,
that's
everything is
good. You're
shitty.
right. You're right about that,
Yeah,
Denise. You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
Everything else is shitty. So you have to.
Um,
I think you have to evaluate your situation and decide if that's convenient for you. But for most people, I would say something that me and Melanie and I have learned the hardest way is own, because even if you cannot up and leave, at least you will find somebody that rents your property and the mortgage pays for itself, and then you can have access to other programs to get yourself a home.
Denise, are you sure you don't want to reconsider moving to New York?
Look, I've thought about it. You have bullied me so much into it. No, I'm joking. I've thought about it because of the sense of community.
Hmm.
That's where the majority of our people are. But in all honesty, I just can't overlook the rat problem, the trash problem, the homeless population. That's something I don't want to keep seeing. It has become the norm in LA, at least, and even in New York, to see homeless people and nothing is being done.
Well, I know I talked about Colchester a couple of times, but it's when you think about some of the areas up in the Bronx, as far as reduction of litter, it's one of the cleanest areas of the Bronx.
Park Chester. I have to look. I've never been to the Bronx, actually. I've been to Queens.
Well, the next time that you come to New York, you need to visit the Bronx. But I guess in your case, you probably use Uber because you're not gonna get on the subway.
No, I won't get on the subway. You cannot pay me to go on the subway.
I mean, but you know what? You're missing the New York experience.
No, 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 no.
I
There's
mean,
some things that I don't need to experience.
just think about it. You can get for only 275. You can go from the Bronx to Brooklyn, and then from Brooklyn to Queens, and then from Queens to Manhattan, and then from Manhattan to Staten Island. Okay, you cannot enjoy that in LA.
Yes, you can. You can get on your vehicle in LA and go to wherever you want to go. You can go from LA to Sherman Oaks. You can go from Sherman Oaks to Van Nuys. You can go to Mission Hills. all inside of your protected, clean, and safe cocoon called vehicle. You see?
Yes, but it's what you can never go using mass transit.
No, 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 no. That's the thing. In New York, you cannot have a vehicle in reality because traffic is horrible. You will never make it on time. It's a headache to own a vehicle in New York.
That's why people use mass transit.
And that's why I refuse to do that because, Lord, no, I am good.
Well, I was, if you ever decide to come to New York, you ever decide to come to the Bronx, I'll show you my area. Um, at least you'll be able to say that you've been to Parkchester once in your lifetime, even though you have no plans to live in.
I think I should visit New York and the Bronx during Christmas time.
Um, with all due respect, didn't you say that you don't like cold weather?
No, I don't. I don't. But I
Okay,
will visit. That means I'm going to keep melanated night so close to me at all times. I will be always and forever, uh, most of the times inside in heated environments. And I'm gonna have 7 layers of clothing.
what?
Yeah, yeah. You
I
heard
mean,
me.
first of all, you don't need 7 layers of clothing.
Oh
This is not
yes.
okay. First of
Hmm.
all, this is not Siberia. Okay, this is New York. Okay,
I've been to
and
Philadelphia. I've been to Philadelphia during winter, and I trust me, I was wearing 7 layers of clothing. It
why?
is cold AF.
Okay, I've been to Philadelphia in the wintertime.
It is
It's
cold.
chilly. It's chilly. It's not cold.
What? That's because you're addicted. No, you're addicted. Addicted to cold weather
You look. You're talking to a person that actually slept with the AC on in the wintertime.
because that's psycho behavior. No, no,
Yeah, Jose,
and
you're living in the ice age.
yeah.
Now, is there any way to treat your cyber father? I thought you loved me.
No, I do love you. The thing is that I don't love the cold weather. Here in LA, it's already getting very cold.
Okay, okay.
Very, very cold.
Okay, but remember, your definition of cold is different from my definition of cold. My definition of cold is when it get down to like zero and below.
Oh my God, no. If it gets down to zero here in LA at some point, I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna have a meltdown. No. In here, listen, last night was what, 56 degrees? That was hella cold. That
No,
was too
look,
cold for me. That was too
excuse me,
cold.
that's Indian summer weather.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not
No.
bad, Denise. That's not bad at all.
That's
It's,
horrible. You guys have to understand I'm in a year-round summer lifestyle. In Puerto Rico, Christmas, the coldest I have seen in my life is 69 degrees, and that is historic records of
oh,
cold.
and that's nice weather.
Well,
Yeah, it's cold though. You need like literally 2 layers of clothing.
one day I actually did a video, which I gave a weather report, and it was 6 degrees outside, and I was enjoying it.
I will never be outside when it's 6 degrees. Never in my life.
Not even with melanin and that.
Nope. And then I can go get the food and whatever groceries I need. I will be cooking, baking, cleaning, staying active so that I'm warm.
Yeah, here it's best to have a remote control start so you don't have to go outside and start your car to let it warm up before you actually drive it because it gets dangerously cold here. And one of our nicknames is Siberia because
Oh my god.
it gets very.
Oh yeah, oh yes. In Chicago, it gets nice and cool in the wintertime.
Oh my god. Look how he says it, Rakim. Nice and cool. He said nice and cool.
Well,
um,
it's 60 days until the first day of winter.
Oh my god. I feel so bad for New Yorkers. And
What?
Jose is out here celebrating that New Yorkers freeze to death.
Well, believe it or not, I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah, I know. You guys are too psycho with that cold weather.
Nah, nah, nah. We just like to keep things real cool. And
It's nothing worse than when
I
you
tell
realize
people,
that you have to. Oh, I'm sorry,
and
Jose.
I
Go right
tell
ahead.
and I tell people, whatever you do, try not to lose your cool.
What? Lose that cool. Try not to lose your warmth. That's what I would say. Try not to lose your warmth. You're cool? Nah.
Actually, I have a saying.
Why do you think New Yorkers are always so angry? They're too.
You know
It's
what?
too
You know what?
cold.
That's a good question. But I have a saying. Don't think of it as cold. Think of it as the absence of warmth.
No. Think of it as the forsaken reality of warmth.
Nah, it sounds nicer. Maybe I should have been a political speech maker.
Oh my God, no. Because you would have made mandates for air conditioners during winter. Oh, hell no. We're going to send people to watch that you have your thermostat at 45 degrees in the winter. Nah, that's insane. I just can't. Trust me, I can't. I sleep fully clothed
Well,
during winter.
in the lunchroom in our floor, there's a particular corner I love to sit in because it's like the coolest spot in the area. So it's
Mhm.
like you have the cool breeze coming in one way and then coming in out. So it gets centralized. So I feel so it's become my favorite spot in the lunchroom.
Oh my goodness. No, no. But nah. And then you have the imagine surviving the pressure of the holidays while you're freezing to death. That is insanity. That is cruelty.
No, you know what's cruelty?
What?
When it's 100 degrees and above with high humidity.
No, that's lovely, actually.
Um, I have actually passed out.
Oh my God, Jose. Jose, you're not making it sound like you're from Alaska or something. No, you don't pass out at 100 degrees.
I have actually done so. Yes.
You're Puerto Rican. You're supposed to excel at 100 degrees. Heat
Okay.
heat is better for you than cold ever is. Cold makes you non-productive, makes you stay at home, you
Then
know?
then explain how come I don't get sick in the winter months.
But that's because you have that psycho New Yorker behavior. Come back to the lighter side. New Yorkers, I don't know. You guys need Jesus. And trust me, that means a lot coming from me. Y'all need Jesus.
No. What we need is like at least 4 months of winter.
No, no. No, 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 no. No.
Let's get back to the topic. Even though we did have fun, you know
Yeah.
I love to needle you a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, it's just my bizarre way of showing my love towards
Oh, your bizarre way. No,
you.
but in
No,
all
but
seriousness, with the whole stress thing, it's this year. I think we're gonna see one of the worst winters in our era
you
when it
mean as
comes
far
to
as
people.
temperature?
No, as far as people and you know their state of their emotional state.
Yes, I agree. The fact of the matter is, first of all, you have people who are never going to get their jobs back. Um, so they're going to have to be retrained. And then you have millions who may lose their homes if they have not already done so. Okay.
Hmm.
Plus, you factor in people who have died. Um, not just because of COVID-19, but because of our health concerns. And also, there's another sickness which is even worse than COVID-19, which is racism. How many people of color that have been killed, and we don't know about it because they're not like George Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of turmoil going on within this country at this particular time, and unfortunately, the depression was going on way before the holidays. It really started during the height of COVID-19, and in some cases it's gotten better, and in a lot of cases it hasn't. It's gotten worse. It depends on who you ask and what's the ending to that person's story. It could be good, it could be bad, and currently, with everything that's going on with the climate in society, it's just a mess right now, unfortunately.
Um, I have a question. Now, here in New York, we do have resources for people who are dealing with the stress during the holidays and during the year with NYC Well, and there are other toll-free numbers like the suicide hotline and things of that nature. Well, I'm just curious. In your communities, what are the resources to help people to deal with stress and mental health?
Well, in my community, I'm not familiar with any of those resources. I'll have to do some research. I'm pretty sure there is, some out there here and there, but for the most part, a lot of the times, if people are living in poverty, they just deal with it day to day. They don't really offer too many resources on how to keep your mental health intact when you're dealing with depression, especially if you're in poor areas in the inner city. You have a lot of people that's walking around with undiagnosed depression or undiagnosed mental illness, and due to their circumstances and how they're living. So I'm pretty sure there is some type of resources that's offered, but I'm not familiar with any, and I'll have to do some more research on them.
Okay. Denise, as far as Los Angeles or Los Angeles County, what's the situation as far as there any resources for the citizens that are dealing with stress and depression?
Well, we have the general hotline, the crisis line that is all year round. But other than that, it like really doesn't care about your mental health. The fact that we put out people in mental facilities and they are now in Skid Row, in all honesty, mental health here is there's not a lot of programs out here. In all honesty,
It's a shame because first of all, it's a struggle to acknowledge that you have a problem, and then to get to that point when you can acknowledge there's a problem, but yet there's not a great deal of resources that's available for many people. That makes it worse.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I said. I'm like, I don't know how you guys have it in New York, and in Chicago. If you guys see a lot of people, I don't think you guys see a lot of homeless people during the holidays out because of course the weather. But in here it's all year round, and it's sad because they're cold as hell. Like it's still cold out here in LA. It's not like as cold as you guys might have it, but come on, if you're on the street and it's like 45 degrees, that's cold.
Well, it's autumn like. So, but the fact of the matter is, we are fortunate because we do have many resources, and also my local has a crisis intervention program. to help our members to deal with all sorts of issues. And they've been very busy the last year and a half during the pandemic with with our members dealing with the stress of fear as it pertains to COVID-19 and the fact that matter is losing loved ones to disease, and now the fear that if we do not get vaccinated, not getting a paycheck. So they've been very busy. So I can just, it's just incredible.
Do you guys
Oh,
have that issue in New York with the homeless population?
we have a large homeless population. I
What
think
do you
it's
guys do on Christmas though?
there are certain nonprofit organizations that will try to have like meals prepared for the homeless. We do have like shelters and things of that nature, but the fact of the matter is I don't. I think it's about 70,000 homeless here in New York. And a large part has to do with the fact that people cannot afford the rent, and also some of the homeless have mental issues as well.
Okay, so they're still on the street on during the holidays during the cold weather, or
Uh,
they provide
there
temporary
are
housing?
people. You know what? There are people who would rather be out in the cold
Oh
than to be
wow.
than to be in a homeless shelter because of fear of their safety. And in fact, um, if the temperature gets down to a certain point, the police has the authority to take these people and take them to a shelter, whether they want to go or not.
Hmm. That is insane, Jose.
Yep.
And Rakim in Chicago, do you guys still have a homeless population outside in the cold?
Yeah, a lot of the times we do, especially near the downtown area. You have some people that sleep underneath the Wells Street Bridge, and some people that they make the fires and everything sleep underneath viaducts. Viaducts usually like where the trains, like the underpass that you drive your cars through, and on top the trains, go past. They call those viaducts here. You have some people that'll make a space in the viaduct with like a tent and different things like that. But isn't the homeless population is nowhere near the size of like Skid Row in LA, or um, different parts of New York, maybe because it's a smaller city. But yeah, we do have a substantial homeless population here, and you can see them all downtown during the holidays, and they're asking for money and change to support themselves and different things like that.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, what some of the homeless would do, they will sleep in the subway cars, um, because at least they're indoors. And I mean, it's not exactly the most comfortable place to sleep on. But when you don't want to deal with the cold and you don't want to deal with um, being in a shelter,
Mm-hmm.
um, so the next best thing is to sleep in a subway car.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That
and
is insane.
I agree. I agree. And the fact of the matter is, you have municipal employees living in shelters. Some of it because they cannot afford the rent, others because they are victims of domestic violence.
Hmm.
So,
That's
and
crazy.
what pissed me off is that um, we were fortunate that we were able to work remotely until September, no, this past September. And then you have people complaining about working from home and then using their laptop to do like 2 or 3 trainings a day. Meanwhile, in this country, you have millions and millions of employees that lost their jobs. And it's like people have gotten spoiled.
Yeah.
And, and as a union rep, I had to listen to this crap. And it's like,
Oh
now, you know
no.
what? And I said, if I was not a Christian, I would have been cursing these people out. It's like, people, you do know that there have been municipal employees that have been furloughed. You do know there have been municipal employees that lost their jobs, and here you are complaining about doing 2 trainings a day and whatnot, or doing something that's different from what you normally do, because the agency that we are employed does have the right under the emergency to reassign staff as needed.
Hmm.
So, and that's the crazy part is that during the whole length of the pandemic, you did not lose, you did not go without getting paid. You did not go without your medical benefits. You did not go without your union benefits. But yet you're complaining because you're asked to do something that's slightly different than what you've been normally assigned to do. And unfortunately, that's the entitled society that we live in.
Yeah.
But let's see if we can focus on some possible solutions on how to deal with stress during the holidays, because I would like us to end on a positive note. Um, you have to be honest with yourself, and if and it's okay to admit that you need help. It is okay to try to seek help with whether it be with a social worker or a therapist, or um, go to the various resources that are available in New York City. Um, Number one, and make sure that you get your rest, because when you don't sleep well, you cannot function well. And maybe there'll be a couple of times when you might be asked to attend a function. You might have to say no and keep it going. And try to ease off on your expectations regarding the holidays, because the fact, okay, you may not be able to buy the latest iPhone or the latest Galaxy S20 whatever, or get the latest car, but you can make sure that that you stay within your means, and it doesn't hurt to treat yourself once in a while. It is just a simple latte.
Yeah,
Uh,
treat yourself to
oh,
like a nice warm cinnamon sugar pretzel. How about that?
that's a great
You know?
idea.
Yeah. It's
Or
Christmas.
yes, or go to Starbucks in Parkchester and get yourself a latte.
No, go to Starbucks in Olympic Boulevard and have yourself a nice latte.
I say go to Starbucks on 71st and Stony Island in the South Shore area and get yourself a nice pumpkin spice chai tea latte.
Well, I have an obsession with caramel macchiato. So I love pumpkin spice. But every time I go now, I don't know why. There's a shortage of the pumpkin spice.
You know
Everything's
what?
in
Well,
shortage.
I was offended when they
Denise,
got rid of the gingerbread flavor. Do you guys remember that? The gingerbread
Yeah,
flavor?
yeah.
I was offended. They told me, they was like, no, we're not carrying that this holidays. I'm like, why would you introduce something so good and just take it away? You all are idiots.
You know what they offer but they got rid of? There's a pumpkin cream muffin. And every time I have gotten to Starbucks to get it, we don't have any. There is a shortage. Can you believe that I've been to Starbucks several times since I came back from vacation and even before, and these people have shortage of sugar and Splenda
Yeah,
and brown sugar?
that's when you start hurling threats. You're like, listen, you guys better get some
no,
more of those pumpkin cream muffins in here because the next time I come, and if it's not any, there's going to be problems. Okay?
no,
Yeah.
I'm just letting you
no,
know
the
that.
no, the solution is to come to Parkchester and go to the Starbucks and get those things.
And what if they have a shortage in Parkchester?
They don't.
No, I'm gonna be like that cat with the AK-47 if they don't have it anymore.
Well, you know what? When if you you know what, Denise?
What?
If you ever come to Parkchester, the first thing I'll do is I'll take you to Starbucks and I'll treat you to whatever you want.
Oh, I want a caramel macchiato. That's for sure. With
That
an
will be
extra shot.
that will be my pleasure to get you.
I'm a high consumer of caffeine. Like a high consumer of caffeine. Without
Okay.
caffeine, I do not work.
Are we talking about say hundreds of dollars in spend on caffeine products?
Uh, well, I have saved money. Um, but no, I mean, it's not like I take. Okay, I take about 6 to 7 portions of caffeine per day, and that can be either on an energy drink or coffee for the most part, or um, any soda, any soda that has caffeine.
You kidding?
Um,
You kidding me? You kidding me, right?
no, no, 6 to 7 portions. I'm
Uh,
not even joking.
what does Melanin and Night have to say about this?
He wants me to simmer down on my caffeine intake. But in all honesty, I've always been like that. Like I've always had like a lot of caffeine to function because I've had to do so many things. In any given day, I have to do several things. So I just had a coffee before I got on this train. Literally,
Okay.
and I take caffeine, strong caffeine, on a daily basis. And I need like a little pick me up in the evening.
Interesting.
Yeah, I take a lot of caffeine.
I guess I gotta have to save up some money to make sure that you can satisfy your caffeine fix.
I'll see if I can get you an espresso, Jose, and then get the pods because that's how I found myself. I got me an espresso machine, and I have the pods, and I make coffee there. Like I make my espresso at home mostly, um, so that I can save money. And I
Okay.
have my caramel syrup, my caramel sauce, and I can add any flavor to it. But mostly, I take in the scale of 0, which is decaf, to 15, being super strong. I take 13 in the intensity of caffeine.
Okay, I can just imagine how why you would be taking all that caffeine, but to each one's own.
Yeah,
Now, what would be some of your possible solutions that you think that will help us to deal with stress during the holidays?
I think people need to stay off of social media.
Okay.
If especially if they're because look, social media is not for social purposes. for the most part. I'm not saying that some people like myself, like you, we don't use it for social purposes. Yeah, we do. However, social media is a market. You have to see it as a mall. Social media is a mall for the world to promote their products, and that's why we have an overwhelming amount of promotions and marketing and social media. So if you consume, uh, content in social media for more than an hour, I want you to think like this, like to the people that are listening. I want you to go on your Instagram and start scrolling on your home, on your feed, and count how many pictures of real people you see, and write down, like every time you see it, put a little stick in the list that you see a picture of a real person, versus how many on your home feed you see a promotion or a product that is for sale. And you're going to realize that you see fewer pictures of real people, and mostly you will see promotions of products and sales.
Interesting.
So, in all honesty, if you don't have financial discipline, it's almost impossible that you're going to not purchase anything. Whether if it's an influencer telling you to buy something because it's great, which is not true, or you're going to be seduced by whatever it is you see. And you have to look at social media like what it is. And like I said, it is a mega mall. So stay off of social media, make a list of people that you want to give them something special. And I will say, make gift boxes. Like this year, I'm going to um, send gift boxes for an actual nice hot chocolate with nice mugs for people. Um, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to spend my money on gifts that are going to be super inflated due to quote unquote um, COVID related delays and shortages and whatnot. So first, stay off of social media, make a list, and assign a budget. Like, say for example, I need to buy 10 gifts for different people, and my budget will be $500. That means that in each person you can spend a maximum of $50 and stick to it. And if you can save and do it for less than 50, then save,
Hmm.
you know, because you have to see the actual numbers. And what I wish people would do as well is that once you have purchased that gift for that person, save the receipts and then break it down versus your prediction and your actual reality. Like I predicted I was going to spend $500 on 50 people. I mean, 10 people. And this is the reality. And then add it up, subtract it, and let yourself know that you save or overspent money. Because when we see reality and the numbers in front of us and the actual math, that's when we're going to start realizing, like, I have to cut this and I have to cut that and I have to do this and that. And in all honesty, I would recommend that you focus on experiences as well. Bake with your significant other, bake with your family, decorate the tree together, drinking some nice champagne. You
Mhm.
know, I don't know, have like a pajama, matching pajamas day, an ugly sweater day. Have activities that are like that are very simplistic, but you get the most out of it. And don't expect anything. Just let life take you, you know?
Hmm.
But those are things that, I think people should focus on more than consuming. And if you know that, if you are buying a Christmas gift, a Christmas tree 3 days before Christmas, don't buy that tree. Come on.
I'm gonna let you in on a secret.
What?
I did not. I have not purchased a Christmas tree ever since I purchased my condominium. Because to be perfectly honest, um, I don't want to get a real tree and have to worry about discarding it and whatnot. I don't want to get an artificial tree and have to worry about putting it together and taking it apart or what have you. So, and I know my siblings have suggested that I get a Christmas tree. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't think so.
mean, look, I love Christmas trees, and in here we always get a natural Christmas tree. This is the first year that I'm considering getting an artificial one, which is I'm so indecisive that I don't even know if I want it flocked, if I want it naturally looking, if I want it pre-lit. So I'm still I'm still torn. But it's because the last Christmas tree was $200.
Yikes.
Yeah, Christmas trees for some odd reason are getting really expensive, and now they announced that because there's a drought, and on top of that the fires, Christmas trees are in short supply, natural ones, and a lot of them are dying, so we're going to have higher prices on trees. So I am against artificial ones. But 3 years ago, I decided that it was time to get an artificial tree. But my partner and at that time my sister were refusing to get an artificial tree. So now it's the time, I think, to get an artificial tree. And you don't have to make that expense every year, and you still can be in the Christmas spirit. But I do save all my decorations.
Okay.
Okay, I that's one of the activities that I love the most. Sometimes I even make my own decorations, and I have a piece of decor, like an ornament that represents every person that I love in my life.
Hmm.
So you guys probably will see it how I decor my tree. I'll show pictures and stuff.
Okay, I just got an email stating that I'm now eligible to get the Moderna booster shot.
Are you gonna get it?
Um, I probably will at the end. I mean,
I think you should just sit this one out. I think you should just keep it moving.
wow. Um, you know what? I just, in 100 years, our um, our future generations are gonna take a look at this health crisis and they're gonna say, "What the heck these people were thinking of?"
Most certainly.
But
Most certainly.
what would be a great topic for us to discuss?
What?
Um, whether it be in your channel or my channel.
Hmm.
Millennials versus baby boomers. What we
Oh,
have.
that's gonna be crazy.
You think so?
Yeah,
Why?
because there's a lot of tension there.
Well, actually, believe it or not, my union actually had a podcast, and it was millennials and the baby boomers. Obviously, I was part of the baby. I'm part of the baby boomer
You're a
generation.
millennial. You're a millennial. I'm joking. I'm joking.
So, what we did, we discussed, the issues that my generation faces as union members compared to individuals in your generation. And the conclusion was that we both faced similar issues
Yeah.
as far as job security, making sure benefits are protected, making sure that we're able to um, prosper as well as we can.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, there is a lot of things that are different regarding our generations, but there are many things that are similar.
Yeah. There's a lot.
And I think we should have that discussion. I don't know whether in your channel or my channel. So I'll, what do you think?
We can have it here on Common Sense.
Okay.
It's something that there's a lot of tension. I'm telling you, there's a lot of tension there. However, I think it should be discussed. You
Would
know,
I need to make it a closed panel?
no, no, we can't have other people come and express their opinions.
Well, I'm sure I would love to have, unfortunately, there's not too many baby boomers in YouTube. So so it's basically, it'll just be me. I think the only ones that are close to my age are True Teacher, um, Brotep, and Inquisidor.
Good luck with the last one.
Uh, I'd be like, oh my gosh. I'll be like, I'll have to carry the load for our people outside.
Yeah, good luck.
Um, and then we can have people like yourself, Radical, Christina, even though she doesn't go on other people's streams as far as being an active participant, but maybe on this one time, maybe we should consider it.
Yeah, we can plan it and just talk to everybody, make sure they're here. But absolutely, I think we should have the conversation.
Yes, definitely. And you know what? We can be civil when we disagree. I mean, hey,
Yeah,
we were able to be civil when we talk about religion and the commercialization of Christ.
yeah.
So I want you to be honest. Aren't you glad that you had me as a co-host instead of Inquisitor?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot. That's a self-explanatory. Yeah, because this is the thing. Look, uh, you have to be able to listen to comprehend, not to respond. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people nowadays that when their views don't align with others, they just come at each other with diminishing behavior or attitudes. And that is not the way. I am so sorry, but that's not the way.
And let me just make it clear. I am not putting on Inquisitor. I think he's a fine gentleman. It's just that there's certain areas where we part company.
Yeah, he needs to chill out a little bit and like learn how to disagree without imposing his views on people.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the main topic,
Yes.
yeah, I think those tips should be helpful for people. Stay off of social media, make a list, and assign a budget. Stick to it, and then compare after. And invest more in experiences rather than material things.
Mhm.
And that should do the trick. I think that should do the trick for people.
Um, actually, I remember when I was in Colombia, and actually it was like a Christian retreat,
Hmm.
um, with people from all over Latin America. You know what we did for one
What?
day? We were not allowed to use our cell phones.
Oh, that's good.
So it was good because first of all, we couldn't get on Facebook, we couldn't get on Instagram, we couldn't get on Twitter and all that and talk about what we ate today and what we did today and what we're going to do, whatever, whatever, whatever. And actually, the following year when I was in Panama for the same thing. There was a storm that actually knocked down the Wi-Fi, so we
Mm.
couldn't use our cell phones.
Even
But
if
I
you
looked at
wanted
it.
to.
But you know what? I looked at it as a blessing in disguise because I was able to fellowship with the other people from other countries.
Yeah, it's that disconnection, that keeps you connected to real life. People have replaced interactions for synthetic interactions now, to the point that a lot of people are like feeling so alone and shit, and some people are even socially awkward because it's not the same to interact through device than in real life.
Is there anyone in particular you had in mind as far as being someone awkward?
Oh my god, the list is long. Jose. The list is long and you know it.
Yes, that is so true. And it's like, I know I'm not supposed to laugh, but when I get on somebody's, when I watch somebody's streams, and it's like, if I don't laugh, I think I think I'll have a, I think I'll burst out, I will explode. I mean, when you have certain individuals that obsess about Mr. BBC and making the DLR white again and talking about resurrecting the Spanish Empire, I mean, it's like, there are more important things to talk about.
Yes, it's cringe. It's really cringe.
Yes. And, it's, I'm one of the few people that actually participated or watch all of your streams.
Yeah.
So I think I have a fair understanding what you're talking about. So therefore, when you have certain individuals that talk about that you're anti-Latino, uh, or that you know that you dating outside your ethnic group, or that you're calorically challenged, okay, it just makes the argument so weak and pathetic.
Yeah, it's but that's the thing. It's like you have to evaluate people for where they're coming from. They're coming from This is a group of people that believes that you should take me as I am, and not understanding we have a problem in our community. We have a problem with families, we have a problem with the formation of families, we have a problem with marriage, and it goes back to what I was telling you about. They're living off of the credit of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
uh you know Millennial Latinos, especially if they're like second third generation Latinos here, they're a completely different breed. And unfortunately, you know there's nothing to pick from. There's nothing to pick from. On top of that, you have because a lot of our millennial Latinos, I'm not saying that they're not good ones, but there is a large sector that is involved in crime, drugs, or are not trying to just put in the work. They have become comfortable and domesticated.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I'm far from home. I'm in America. And in America, you have to, you know, find whatever is in your proximity. So they don't understand that. They or just take me as I am. I'm gonna do the very least, because they fight me on two things. They fight me on the person I'm with, and they fight me on the aspect that they have to put in the work. You can't have it both ways. You
Mm-hmm.
can't want our women that are here in the U.S. To take you in your Americanized, comfortable state, and also, you know, not want to improve or even contribute to society. Most of these people, these dudes that have a problem with, notice how you don't see men, Latino men of substance like Ramon, like you, like Radical Latino. Notice how you guys have zero problems with that, but you guys are hardworking men.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are actually qualified to be a husband, and that is the problem that these kids don't understand. And I call them kids, even though some of them are in their 30s or close to their 30s, because that's how they're behaving like children.
So which leads me to my question. Does that mean that the millennial Latinas, do they tend to look after men of our generation because of the lack of maturity that some of these guys have?
The lack of maturity, and I would say the lack of self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't get me wrong, there is a lot of toxic Latina women that exist in our community, and we have to say it.
Yes,
They
sir.
are dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and they also need to understand, like, you're not going to bring your masculine energy to a man in the Latin community and expect that he takes you like that. You have to cleanse yourself from masculine energy and have realistic expectations. We're not asking for men to be $1 million workers. We're asking for men that are willing to say, hey, I'm going to wake up every day and produce. I don't care if you produce, a blue collar job. Most of the Latinas don't. The thing is, like, you have to be able to be productive. And the problem that we're having with this group specifically, not all Latinos, I'm gonna say that because it's not all. The problem that we're having with this group in particular, that's what we call them, the slow taps, is that they refuse to be productive in any way. And unfortunately, if you're not productive, you cannot expect to have a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that a lot of them don't want to talk about, but ask them about their addictions. That should be a tell. A woman look, just like men, like many men in the manosphere says, including Kevin Samuels, men are not emotional tampons for women. Women are not rehabilitation centers. You can be addicted to drugs and alcohol and want a wife. It doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be living in your mom's house and expect to have a wife. You cannot be underemployed and expect to have a wife. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this type of dudes believe that flipping burgers is beneath them. That they should not have to work here or do this or do that. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I get it. You don't have to go to college if you don't have the brains or whatever the hell. But that means that you will take whatever job and make a lot of money from that job. And when I say a lot of money, is sufficient money to provide for your family at the very least, and
Mm-hmm.
not stay there. Be ambitious for more. Nobody is asking for crazy $100,000 human beings. But the problem is that they believe that somewhat, somewhere, somehow is going to bring our community together. And honestly, that's not the way it works. That's
Well,
not the way it works.
I take a look at myself. Okay, I'm not exactly flush with money. I mean, I do try to improve my situation. Whether it be a promotional exams or promotions or what have you. I mean, I have a certain level of success. I manage to own. I mean, I am an owner. I'm not a renter. I've been gainfully employed as an employee for almost 22 years. I still got some gray cells that haven't deteriorated and turned to mush. So I don't smoke, I don't drink. So I think I'm a good candidate for any female that's has something has has a healthy um attitude about themselves. And maybe the situation is that more millennial Latinos will look after older people like myself because they want someone that's stable.
Yeah, of course, because it's like I said, it's not we're not demanding millionaire lives. We're demanding drive. We're demanding to not be addicted to any substance. We're demanding to be productive. Just wake up every day and be the best version of yourself that you can be.
And to be
That is
faithful.
not hard. That is not hard.
And to be faithful.
Look, I am torn between that faithful thing because I don't judge people for what they believe in. I just think they have to lay out their cards from the get go.
I
So
agree.
that women know, don't take a woman's choice away. Just let them know the real from the beginning. Hey, you know what? I don't expect this to be a relationship when I'm loyal to you. And let the woman decide if she wants to stay there.
Okay. Agree. Well, I'm going to start the wrap up because I'm sorry, I am not going to do 10-hour streams, 11-hour streams, 12-hour streams because why? Now, okay, and you know what? And for those that do it, you know what? More
More
power to you.
power to them.
Okay, because I know it's okay. And I use this analogy. It's like I understand my our streams are like basically like airline portions of food compared to other streams that are like 10 hours long, 11 hours long, 12 hours long. It's just that after 2 hours, what else can you talk about really? So I'm going to ask for closing remarks. So, and unfortunately, our friend Rakim is not with us.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
gonna
his phone
ask.
died out.
Yes. Well, you know what? I okay. Well, Rakim, do yourself a favor. Invest in a computer, in a laptop, or at least have your phone connected to a charger. Because actually, that's what I did before I got myself a laptop. So now we're going to hear last statements from the one who helped me, who gave me the inspiration to do this, the one, the only, the fabulous Denise Gonzalez.
Oh, that was a lovely introduction. But yeah, definitely, like I stated before, Jose, with this whole holiday stress situation, it's only stressful if you allow it to be. In life, we have to, especially in the society we're in America, everything needs to be planned. And if you think you don't need a plan, well, let me tell you something. Donald Trump, with his billions of dollars, has a budget, has a plan. Elon Musk has a budget, has a plan. So if they have that, and they have crazy amounts of money, you also need one. There's no rebuttal from that. I would say, avoid social media, become self-aware of how susceptible you are. It's kind of like with addicts, for example, when they have to admit they have an addiction in order to address the problem. The same thing goes for, this shopping sprees that people go on and on about. You have to admit that, you are powerless in front of consumerism. and that you are susceptible to it. And based on that, make clever choices. And whenever you want to purchase something, you have to ask yourself, do I want it or do I need it? And like I said, it's all about the planning. If you have no control, no self control whatsoever, try to shop online. If shopping online doesn't work and you like to just get things that same day, then go into the mall with a specific amount of money. Take out the cash from your card and just have that amount that is not going to put your mortgage money on jeopardy, your car payment money on jeopardy, and so on and so on. Those are techniques that actually work, and you won't be feeling guilty because unfortunately you get hours of satisfaction from purchasing material things versus the satisfaction that you have from being financially stable. And you have to look for outsources of stability and peace. This season is supposed to be about closure. A year ends, another year of life, another year of health, and you have to focus on that. I think that's the best advice I can give people. um, and like I said, it's about to get really really crazy. Just understand, let's be more understanding of one another, more kind to one another, especially coming into the season. Why, instead of spending money, you don't go to that person you had a disagreement on this year and say, hey, I'm glad that we both made it to the end of the year. I want to make amends. Let's have a cup of coffee and laugh it off and just, come to an understanding. I think those things are way more valuable than a purchase. So, I hope that that's helpful. And that's all I got. Thank you so much, Jose, for having me on. It has been a pleasure. As usual, I enjoy all of your streams and the wisdom that you bring to this YouTube community that we have.
Well, I thank you for joining the stream. I really do appreciate the support that you've given me. Um, I'm the new kid on the block, even though I'm almost 60. But but I think the fact of the matter is we need to get more of my generation to share what wisdom that we have. And I really do appreciate. And I also appreciate all those. Oh, we have Rakeem back. Uh, so, Rakeem, you're just in time for closing statements. So, what I'm going to do, my cyber daughter, I'm going to put you in the background, and then I'm going to go to Rakeem and his final thoughts.
Yes. My final thoughts is when it comes to the holidays, I understand it's a lot of stress. I understand that people are depressed because they're finding themselves in a bad position because you know just based off of not being able to have those materialistic things, because unfortunately with us living in American society, that's been ingrained into us that you're only as good as what you're able to produce, and you're only as good as what you're able to provide, especially for men. So in a lot of cases, that would hinder men's confidence, and that would hinder them into thinking that they're worthless. um when it comes down to it, if it's a situation where you can't provide for these actual holidays and you're in a bad position, you have to come together with your family, whether it's your children, whether it's your significant other, and you can easily tell your kids, hey, daddy may not be able to get this for you right now, but what I will do is that I will make it up to you, and you can believe that I will definitely make it up to you, and we got each other for the day. We're going to spend time with each other. We're going to sit down. We're going to enjoy each other's company. and also get together with family during the holidays, hash out whatever differences you may have had, you know, on, with people that you might have not spoken to for a while, and, just try to rectify the situation and see if you all can come to a mutual understanding, because in this day and age, we have lost the value of family. And that's important because people find themselves going through a lot of things in their life by themselves, and they have no one to really turn to. They don't have a support system. So that's important, and that's all I got to say.
Okay, well, thank you, Rakeem, um, for joining the stream. I do suggest that you get yourself a laptop or at least keep your phone charged, so that way it doesn't.
Yeah, I will. Coming soon. Coming soon.
I mean, believe me, I know the feeling. You know, it's just that unfortunately, when you participate in a live stream, it does eat up a lot of battery life. So but I do appreciate your input. So now I'm going to put you in the background. Now, here are my final thoughts. The fact of the matter is, stress during the holidays is a real situation. And sometimes people are overwhelmed. And it could be many factors. It could be unreasonable expectations. It could be dealing with the loss of a loved one. It could be maybe you losing your job. It could be dealing with medical concerns. There are many factors that lead to stress. But the key is to acknowledge that you have this situation, that you are dealing with stress, and then try to take some actions to try to alleviate the stress as much as possible. And you need to be honest with yourself. And if you do need help, don't feel ashamed to get it. Um, there are many resources in your community when you can get some sort of relief. Of course, as a Christian, um, I believe in the power of prayer. I know there are those who don't share my beliefs, and that's perfectly fine. I usually don't talk too much about my religious views that much, but I just want to let people know that um, when you're dealing with stress, just be mindful. Um, there are ways that you can deal with it, and God does put angels in your life to help you to deal with stressful issues and stressful situations. So that being said, I thank everybody for being part of the stream, whether watching it. Um, I also thank those who participated, being on the panel. I also thank those that are going to catch it on the replay. Now, for my next stream, it's going to be a closed panel because I will be discussing the issue whether political correctness has gone too far. Now, the reason why it's going to be a closed panel because I want to create a safe environment so that we can share our views. Unfortunately, sometimes when you deal with issues that's kind of a little controversial, we get people from the peanut gallery that try to get in. That being said, I just want to say thank you very much. And may your weekend be a pleasant and as stress free as possible. Again, this is Jose Negron, and you have witnessed another episode of Uncommon Sense. So I'm going to say good night, stay blessed, and peace. Oh, okay, let's try this again. Okay. it's like, what's going? Okay, and broadcast. Okay. Ugh. Something's wrong with my computer. I can't end the thing. Denise, for some reason, I'm having trouble ending the broadcast. So I don't know what.
What's happening with the?
Okay, I'm pressing end broadcast, but it's not ending it.
Try to exit yourself from it and come back in. Press leave studio and come back in. Well, no, don't leave studio. Remove yourself and then bring yourself back in and try to end it.
For some reason, I can't end the broadcast. And if I leave the studio, that means, okay, should I leave the studio?
No, because then how? Do you know how to get back into StreamYard?
Let's see.
Well, while Jose is back, I'm going to be co-hosting how to deal with stress during the holidays. I hope you guys have had a great stream. I want to encourage everybody that's watching this on the replay to press like and also subscribe. And more important than anything else, press the bell for notifications so when Jose is live, you can watch it before everybody else.
For some reason, I cannot end the broadcast.
Did you left the studio and came back?
Yes, I did.
Try to press it again.
Okay, is it end broadcast?
Now press end broadcast again.
I'm doing that, but it's like